Hello, activists. Welcome to another edition of Accidental Activists. I'm Chanda, Masta, the serious blonde, and I've got a great guest today. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for a while for this interview, so I'm super excited we finally got to get the time to sit down. But first, I want to thank my engineer, Oz Lefebvre, the man behind the curtain. Thank you, Oz. Welcome, Sirius. Good to see you. So today I'm excited to have not only a friend of mine, but an amazing progressive in, Western Washington, Mariana Everson. And are you there? Yeah, I can see you.
I'm here. Thank you. Thanks for having me here. I've been so excited waiting for this. It's going to be really fun.
Yeah, it is fun. And that's, I get told by the candidates that it's a little bit different interview style than they're used to doing. And it's a little bit more fun because you get to talk a little bit more about who you are and why you got involved. And I think that's so important for people to hear because these are the candidates I want, or the everyday people that, understand the pressures that, we're under. And so you're running for state representative in District 19, position 1 for Western Washington House, right?
That's right. Southwest Washington, from Grays Harbor down to the Columbia River.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so you beat out the Democrat in the primary, and you're up against the Republican.
Yeah, I'm against Jim Walsh. He's been a 2-term Republican in the legislature. Hasn't done anything worth substance in his 2 terms, and but create division and hate amongst the people here. And so it's time for him to go.
Yeah, it is time for him to go. I do have a clip for you guys so you can see who this guy is. And yeah, he's all the bad things you say he is. Hey, Al Walski, welcome. And everybody who's joining us in the chat. Oz, you want to throw up our slide deck? Thank you. So, I always kind of go and creep around on people's Facebook pages to figure out, well, when did they get involved? What are the things they're passionate about? And I can see that you are a very passionate Bernie supporter. And you want to just tell me how you got your start in activism?
Sure. So 2016, 2015, probably, I learned about Bernie Sanders. I had heard of him, but I didn't know a lot about him. I started watching his videos and his social media and talking to my husband about it, and like, oh my God, is this for real? Like, could we really have these things? Like, what the heck, right? So we went to the precinct caucus. We met, everybody at our table was voting for Bernie Sanders. We were like so excited to know that we weren't alone. Actually, we didn't even know we could go to the precinct caucus.
Right?
We never did anything like that. We thought it's like some fancy people did that, not just regular old people. And so we were excited to meet everybody there. Friends that we still are friends with now, working in, within the party, outside the party, and became the delegates for our precinct, and went to the county caucus and was overwhelmed with the number of Bernie supporters in my county. It was just, wow. People were making speeches and stuff. And I saw a person that I went to school with for nursing school. And that's her in the picture with me there, where I'm holding the oil train sign.
Oh, yeah.
We decided I was like, we have to do something. We have to do stuff. I can't not do stuff now. Bernie said, get involved. So let's do it. So we made a little group. We decided that even if it was just she and I for the next 6 months doing meetings, we were going to do monthly meetings. And the first meeting, 25 people showed up.
Yeah.
It kept going. It just kept going.
It just keeps going, and it's still going, right?
Still going. Yeah.
And here we are. Yeah, we have similar stories in Clallam County, many of us showing up at our first caucuses and fighting together. So, I always want to kind of go back to how you grew up, because I think that sets the stage for why many of us get involved and become activists. Did you grow up here in Washington?
Yeah, I grew up in Montesano all through school. And my dad had jobs in different mills around the area at first, and then he settled in to be a millwright at a Weyerhaeuser sawmill in Aberdeen, which was a good paying union job. Most of them were, but good paying union job where we had healthcare. It was just like, I didn't think about it. Like we could just go to the doctor if we needed to, or the dentist every year, 6 months, or whatever. It just was. And then I became an adult and didn't have health insurance anymore. And tried to go to college. Started college probably 5 different times to try to get through an education, and went into debt. Everybody seems to have, so in 1991, 92, when I started college, 91, 92, tuition at the community college was like $197 a quarter.
Right.
And now it's like $2,600.
Yeah. Right. You could work part-time.
I know that's a long damn time ago. I'm old now, but that's a lot of money, a lot of change. And so, but anyway, I just kept going back to school, and then I'd work for a while, and then I'd go back to school, and then I'd work for a while. And then I went to Central Washington University in 1997 and racked up about $20,000 worth of student debt. And then I was really out of school. I mean, I can't go back because my student loans went into default and into collections. I ended up paying, because I was poor. I was working at fast food places, and, I couldn't pay,
Yeah, you're trying to keep a roof over your head and eat.
And then I had 2 little kids, by then too, after a couple of years. And then I was a single mom. And so finally I paid off my student loans with my tax returns. I just filed my tax returns every year, and they took it. I didn't get anything. And for 5 years, and then that paid off my student loans. And then I knew I needed an education to make it out of that poverty, to raise these 2 kids. I was a single mom, So I decided to go to nursing school. And luckily, even though my student loans were in default through that time, I qualified for some grants and workforce education and stuff that get me through nursing school. So I was lucky.
Yeah. But still having to pay off all of that debt with your tax returns, so many of us rely on our tax returns to clean up whatever debt. I mean, it's like a stimulus every year that just gets dumped right back into the creditor's pockets.
That's right. It totally does. That everybody, goes and buys a new couch or a TV or whatever.
Yeah, right.
They can't afford anything the rest of the year.
I'm going to get my license back when I get my check.
Get their license back. Exactly.
Exactly. And that's sad because, our system so, revolves around money that the poor really do suffer. And, you live in, so those who are joining us from abroad, like Al Waski over in Vermont. So to understand where Mariana lives, she lives in a very rural, area of Western Washington. It's southern Western Washington. It's below me, and it's we are timber country, and so we have some of the world's biggest old growth in the world here. But this used to be a thriving industry for most of our area, and we kind of have these sister towns, Port Angeles and Shelton and Aberdeen, that all were built up around these industries that now have such despair and homelessness and drug addiction, and there's no jobs. And these little towns they need somebody like Mariana fighting for them, so we can change and bring a workforce industry back to these areas. And I know that you have plans for that. So I want to get into what you've been doing, though. I got to meet you through OPP, which is the Olympic Peninsula Progressives, because we are both Western Washington. We do a lot of stuff with Aberdeen. It's a 3-hour drive, but I love coming down there. I got to say, last time I was down in Aberdeen a couple of weeks ago, I was really shocked at how beautiful it was. There was huge flower baskets. Hoquiam looked good. Everything was beautiful when we were down there. I just got to say, kudos. Good. It looked great. So, but you have traveled a lot. I can't imagine living down there to do the things that you do. I know you to be involved with Our Revolution, Western Washington, and of course, Whole Washington. So here's some pictures of you hanging out with Jason Call, and you guys might know Courtney Love.
Yes, Courtney. That was a fun night.
It looks fun. You guys look like you're having a blast.
Yeah.
And what is this?
The picture on the left is the weekend after the Women's March in 2016, we did another march because there's people who like me that couldn't join the Women's March because we were at work.
Wouldn't
and
like me.
My opponent, Jim Walsh, had just gotten into the legislature, and his first order of business was to put in 2 bills that would restrict women's reproductive health care for Washington State employees.
Wow.
And so we were pissed.
Yeah.
And so we decided we were going to have this march. Like 75 to 100 people showed up at a moment's notice. We started planning the march on Wednesday and had it on a Saturday. And we marched all the way through Aberdeen, all these women with these great signs. And then we had a chance to tell our stories right downtown. And then some of us decided we were going to march right up to Jim's house. So we walked right up the hill, that Aberdeen Broadway Hill area where all the hoity-toity people live.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And not really that hoity-toity.
It's up above the high school, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And stood in front of his house and told our stories with the megaphone. He wasn't home, but
They never are.
It's okay. We did what we were doing. And then the picture on the right is we did a march in 2018. Yeah, 2018 for okay, so believe it or not, the Most Reverend Bishop Curry came to Aberdeen, Washington to be with us and march through the streets for people that are experiencing homeless. So he is the one that did the royal wedding with Prince whoever and the American.
Oh yeah, Harry and Meghan.
Yes, he did the part of their wedding ceremony. Oh, wow. And then like a few weeks later, he was in Aberdeen looking at the homeless camp.
That's awesome. Just to give people a perspective, Aberdeen to me has always had more addiction problems and more disparity, more homelessness. I think I recognized it decades sooner there than I did really anywhere else, other than maybe Seattle. Some of you may know that the infamous lead singer of Nirvana was from Aberdeen. It just seemed to have always had a heroin problem years before anybody else. Was that perceptive, right?
Thing, that, drugs and alcoholism is been like a way of life for people in this area for decades, but they just had an opportunity to have a job so they could support their habit, a lot longer. A lot of alcoholism, and it's been the place for a century or more where people came to party. Like even like the Navy, they had to bar people from coming here because there's so many whorehouses and party animals and all that stuff. So then when the industry went away and nobody had any jobs, then, it's the same thing. Everybody's drinking and drugging. They just don't have any money to do it anymore. Okay. I always say, so it's an intergenerational problem, right? And so I've said lots of times that if a place could be diagnosed with PTSD, that Aberdeen is that place.
Oh, that's
intergenerational trauma, alcoholism, drug abuse, cycles. Sexual abuse, foster kids, all the diseases of despair.
I'm glad it wasn't just me thinking that. Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't just me thinking that about Aberdeen, but you're right. I never gave it much thought. It's right next to the ocean. A lot of people travel down there, as a kind of getaway. So that makes sense that it would be like that.
Yeah.
So you recently had a candidate face off. How was that?
That was really fun. Jim and I were one-on-one on the KXRO radio. You can follow their Facebook page or go to their Facebook page and see the whole
there's a SoundCloud
kind of debate that we had. Yeah, there's a SoundCloud too. And I definitely learned some stuff. I was a little nice. Not that I'm not nice, because I am nice, but I think that Mr. Walsh deserves to answer for some of his votes and some of his plans, and I'll definitely be asking him to answer for those things this next couple of times.
Yeah,
I have 2 forums coming up next week on Tuesday at 3:00. We'll have a League of Women Voters forum from Lower Columbia. That'll be broadcast on Facebook I'll try to share it out on my page so people can find it easily at 3:00. And then Wednesday evening at, I think it's either 7 or 7:30, I'll have another forum that will be on my Facebook page that's from the Wahkiakum Republican / Democratic parties are putting on. And that'll be all of the candidates from the 19th, so the senators candidates, and then the other representatives candidates. So there'll be 6 of us on the screen.
Well, at least you've done a few now. You know, you got to kind of get some teeth into him. So this was your primary opponent, Clint Bryson, and you. I took a little clip out of it talking about what would be the first thing you would want to do, implement if you were elected.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We want to get kind of a sense of what your priorities would be as a legislator. And so, Marianne, we'll stick with you on this question. What would be your day one agenda for the 2021 term in Olympia?
Well, I'm wearing this hat. This hat represents a campaign started by my friend Laura that was Red Berets for Medicare for All. And we've brought those berets into the whole Washington fight for a single payer system, for everybody to be covered with health insurance. Not health insurance, health coverage. Insurance companies are not serving us well. Even in Grace Harbor, we fight to even have somebody who will cover us for the ACA. Sometimes we don't have one. We have to give special privileges to them to come in. So as a nurse, as a mom, as a member of this community that sees people struggle and die because they don't have health care, they don't have health insurance, day one, I will be sponsoring whole Washington. It's now SB 5222 in the Senate, and I will be sponsoring that in the House.
Okay. Well, you've definitely touched a nerve with our listeners and viewers, because we've gotten more questions about healthcare than pretty much anything else. So we'll definitely be returning to that. Clint, I'll move over to you and ask you about your priorities a little bit, and what would your day one agenda be for the 2021 term?
Sure. The 3 top priorities I have for the 19th are rural economic development, education, and healthcare. And often when we speak about these things, they get listed as separate items. I really see them as being linked.
I can see why you beat him. And I just got to say, I'm so damn proud of you for beating the moderate establishment Dem.
He's a nice guy. I'm not going to say anything.
He seems like he probably is. He's probably one of those that they are nice. But
super nice. He did what he went down the list and did all the things that he was supposed to do to win.
And got all the endorsements, right?
Yep. He did it. He did what he was supposed to do.
Damn progressives. Woohoo, smackdown in Washington. Take the gloves off, Annie Ann says from Idaho. So now we're going to get into your opponent. This is the Republican that you're facing off with. It's Jim Walsh. And I took this off the Washington State Republicans page. Don't tell anybody I was over there. Anyways, go ahead and hit play. You guys can see what she's up against.
This is State Representative Jim Walsh from the 19th District. I'm under the dome here in the Capitol as the State House this week is beginning its floor action in real earnest. Every day, all day, we're looking at bills that are originating from our side, from the House of Representatives, and giving them floor votes. So far today, the first full long day of bill action, there have been not so many controversial issues. The first day or so, they tend to put forward the least controversial, most bipartisan bills that often come out with a unanimous or near unanimous vote. There were a couple of bills today that were a little controversial. There was one bill that expands the anti-discrimination law around the subject of hairstyles and makes it an illegal discriminatory act to take any action against someone because of the style of their hair. That was a little controversial. There was some question about whether that's really a constitutionally protected class, as you usually see in discrimination law. And there was some disagreement over some very broad language that the appearance of discrimination might be enough to be illegal. It still passed off the floor, but there was some debate there. Another one that was slightly controversial had to do with the placement and possible expansion of the Northwest ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement Facility that's in Tacoma. That's been in the news recently because a couple of open borders immigration activists have attacked the place, trying to create controversy and scandal around that facility in Tacoma. The bill in question today had to do with that facility's desire to expand, to become larger and be able to house more illegal aliens while they're being processed. And that vote went in favor of the local advocates who don't want the facility to expand. They want it to be frozen at the size that it is currently. It was a bit of a phantom debate because while the real underlying subject there was immigration and the ability of the federal ICE agency to be located in Tacoma, the debate really focused on very local issues of how the Growth Management Act applies to local control of zoning and the size of buildings. So that one also passed. That is, Tacoma will be able to prevent that facility from growing. So it's a win for local control, but not a win for enforcement of federal immigration law. That's about it for today. We'll expect the really controversial bills dealing with tax policy, dealing with transportation, and dealing with Second Amendment rights, gun rights, to come a little later this week. I'll try to update you again when we get to that point. But for now, it's Jim Walsh signing off. Talk to you soon.
Wow. Now, this guy, there's so many things. Okay, so in a roundabout way, he says that the Dems beat back the wanting to discriminate against people of color's hair, and they pushed back on the wanting to expand ICE. I mean, this guy is just terrible.
He's terrible. He's so terrible. He put in an alternative budget, okay, to the biennium budget in 2019 that would have, he was trying to cut $1 billion out of the budget, okay? So because he says our budget's too big, like we shouldn't be spending all this money, we shouldn't be taxing anyone.
What about all the money we just dumped in from legal marijuana?
Yeah, no shit. Okay, so let me pull this up.
He reminds me of Rodney Dangerfield with his eyes all kind of bugged out.
He's got bug eyes. What is
weird.
that?
He's from the East Coast. His dad was a lawyer for the Reagan administration.
Oh, shocker.
He went to private school and Amherst College, and you know what I mean. He's just not a Western Washington kind of guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he talks like he's for the little guy, but he's never been a little guy. He does not understand what it's like to struggle and try to get through college and be a single parent, right, and have addiction surround you, and you know he doesn't know what it's like to be working class because he's never been working class. He's always come from a place of privilege. And of course, I cannot find this note that has the things that he, okay, here it is. The things in his budget that he wanted to cut are school counselors.
Oh yeah, we don't need those.
No, we don't need those. Reimbursement in for rural doctors who take Medicaid.
Then that's a huge freaking problem for us that live rural, because we only have a few doctors that will take the shitty insurance that will offer us a group rate, which is normally what, Humana or Molina. I mean, they're terrible. They won't cover anything. You got to get pre-approved for everything.
So the only way to get the doctor to take it is to increase their reimbursement rate so that they'll take it so people can actually get care, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
He wanted to cut the state employees retirement fund.
They don't need to retire.
He wanted to cut reimbursement for people on Medicaid who are staying in nursing homes so that they didn't.
Well, they're in homes. They don't need anything.
No, they don't need to be in a nursing home. They could just sit on the sidewalk. It's okay.
Yeah.
Rural health clinics. So just like the running of the business, like we have in Grace Harbor, CMAR, and then they have, Core Health down in Longview. Child care and daycares. He wanted to cut funding for those.
Don't have kids.
No, we don't need them. He wanted to cut funding for the Department of Fish and Wildlife, and the Department of Natural Resources for fire suppression. So we've had these forest fires, right? So, and many years in a row,
Right.
and he wanted to cut fire suppression. And then he also wanted to cut this one's kind of fun. He funding for law enforcement training programs.
Oh, fuck it. They don't need train. Just give them a
No,
gun
just
and a good swift kick
put
in
'em
the
out
butt
there.
and send them out
Yeah.
there.
So he wanted to defund the police, you know.
Oh my God. He wanted to defund the police. I hope that you're putting that out there. Like, well, you're the one who suggested we defund the police first.
Yeah, he wrote some books. He wrote some books, and in one of his books, he says that let me get the quote so that I get it just right. And I know I'm sorry, I'm stretching out your.
No, you're good. We got an hour, so we got a half
Okay.
hour. So.
Let me find it, because I want to make sure that I get it just right.
J9 Campbell says Jim Walsh is a sociopath.
Well, maybe. Women, working families, seniors. Where is it? Okay. In his book, he said, Social Security is a cancer on our nation. Eradicating poverty among the elderly is a stupid way to spend a population's money.
And what the hell are we supposed to do with the seniors?
In the book, Libertarian Nation, The Call for a New Agenda, he wrote in 2009. So it's not that long ago. Social Security is a cancer on our nation. Eradicating poverty among the elderly is a stupid way to spend a population's money.
Wow.
This is the person that's representing you in LD19, people.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know what he expects us to do. Just wheel him off a cliff somewhere and just like.
He will be elderly one day, maybe, if he's lucky enough. And
not if he hangs out with Trump's crew.
I don't think he's a particular supporter of President Trump. At least he does in public doesn't say anything.
Really,
about
he's
it.
not an outright Trump supporter, though. I don't know if that's good,
But he hangs out with a lot of them. Yes. Yeah. He hangs out with a lot of fun people. Proud Boys, the 3%ers.
Wow.
Those are his that's his base.
So yeah, let's talk about that. So you were saying that when you went to the caucus, you were shocked to see how many Bernie supporters were there, but your county actually voted for Trump.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
My county would have voted for Bernie. I'm 100% sure. I think that because they did what they did to Bernie and took him out at the knees with the superdelegates and all of that, took us all out at the knees with that. I think that people just didn't vote, or they voted for Jill Stein, or they wrote Bernie in, or whatever, and none of that really counted, and ended up going for Trump.
Right, which turned a lot of Washington purple.
What it is my working class brothers and sisters that voted for Trump. I understand.
Me too.
Like, I totally get it. We need something new. This neoliberal agenda is not working. We have to try something else. We're desperate out here. Our kids are addicted to meth and heroin. Our moms can't afford their health care.
Yeah.
We're working 2-3 jobs, barely keeping it together, going in debt just to live day to day. I get it.
Well, and Trump was saying the things that they wanted to hear, like, I'm going to lock her up, we're going to do this. Trump was against TPP. Most of us are smart enough to realize these trade agreements like NAFTA that the neolibs, coordinated, screwed us out of our jobs. And so, I understand why my county and your counties voted purple 4 years ago. It'll be interesting to see what they do in the coming weeks. Do a lot of those people regret supporting Trump 4 years ago, or are they going to continue to support? I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Well, I think that in my area, Trump supporters are solid. There's no turning them back. But I think that the Bernie thing, the people that supported Bernie this year, I think they get it that Biden is the one we have to vote for, or at least they think so.
Yeah, they think so.
I don't know. I think that they push the Trump so bad narrative hard enough that anybody who's not a diehard Trump supporter will probably vote for Biden.
Yeah, TDS. Yeah, TDS is rampant in our country right now. So, so
Mhm.
yeah, I saw a few people of the chat talking about it. You are a frontline worker. You are a nurse.
Yeah.
You want to tell us about where you work and what you do?
Yeah, I work in a mental health evaluation and treatment center. So we take care of people who've been detained for danger to self, danger to others, or grave disability because of their mental health illness. We see people on their very worst day, the day they want to die, the day
Right.
they are grappling with, I don't want to kill anybody, but I can't stop the voices.
Yeah.
You know, the worst day that they've had. And I'm so proud and honored to be part of this program that heals people, that brings them through recovery. We have a wonderful program that helps people get back on their feet, get back on their meds, or start meds that they need. We have great rehab specialists and discharge planners. We get people into homes when they leave, and we get them into recovery if they need to go to treatment for their addictions, if they want to, of course. And it's an amazing job. It's like
That is an amazing program because we don't have that here in Clallam County. And, you know, as many of you know, I have a child that's living on the streets, is battling addiction. Every time she gets picked up, I pray to God she encounters somebody like you that is going to say, hey, why don't you think about getting a house, or, you know, we can go to a doctor and see a mental health specialist. But that never happens up here.
Well, we see some of the people from Clallam County come to our Shelton or the McClary locations. We take care of people from all over the state. We try to focus on, you know, Grace Harbor, Pacific, you know, Waukegan, Lewis, and Cowlitz, but we definitely take people from all over. You know, we've had people from Spokane County, from Wenatchee, you know, all over the state. But it's heartbreaking and heart fulfilling because, you know, in those days when they're just so struggling, yelling, running up and down the hall naked, you know, all the stuff.
Right. And then you see them 6 months later.
They're just hurting. And then you see them just weeks later, they're just like the light bulb comes on and they're just wonderful, beautiful people, just like anybody else. And we treat them that way no matter what their behaviors are, you know.
Right.
There.
Well, I think it's so commendable what you do. It makes my heart smile and sing that you do that. And I'm just, you know, I'm so proud to call you a friend, and I just want to be supportive in any way I can. And that's why we're doing this today. I have worked with you for a while on Whole Washington, the push for universal healthcare in Washington state.
Yeah.
And, you are such a champion. Here you are with one of my very good friends, Kathy Angel, who passed away, but she's the one who really drug me into the universal healthcare fight. You know, she was a nurse too, just like you. And this was our first booth that we did in Olympia in 2016, I want to say.
Yeah,
or was that
so.
2007? Look at, we look so young. Look at how young Rhonda looks.
I know. We haven't been through all the things we've been through since then.
We've aged so much since then.
I know. I let my hair go gray since then. And the other person in the picture with Angel and I is Diane Keeling, and she's passed away as well of cancer. So I just cherish that photo. That was at the Women's March in Ocean Shores that Kathy came down to be with us for that. It was. Yeah.
I love that these activists, so many embraced us in 2015 and 16, and now we carry the torch for them.
Sure.
Definitely.
We just keep going.
Yeah. And so here we are with our revolution. This was your summit down in Aberdeen that I came down and attended.
That was fun.
How was that, February? It seems like years ago, but it was like in February.
This year, yeah. Yeah, that was great. A lot of people came to that. I was excited to see so many people there. We had some speeches, and my friend Naomi came down from Seattle. They're lifelong activists.
Amazing activists.
They had they always have a wonderful speech. They always have something to say that's profound. I met Naomi through the Poor People's Campaign, National Call for a Moral Revival. We have a chapter of that here in Grace Harbor with Chaplains on the Harbor, and Sarah Monroe organized that. And Yeah, it's an honor to know Naomi. They are.
Yeah, she's very, very moving, very powerful speaker, so real, so down to earth. You can relate on so many different levels with her story. And that was so much fun that we had Amber there, we had Rhonda. Yeah, it was like we all got to come together, and that was right before the big Bernie thing in Tacoma. So
yeah,
I hope we get back together doing these Our Revolution things. I think we've just been busy with other stuff lately. I love this. I'm going to play this.
We can't meet. So
I know. It's been such a problem. So this was a speech that you gave at one of the summits. Which one was this?
Olympia.
Olympia. Okay. That's Joshua Collins behind you, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's the day we all got endorsed.
We organize. We
win.
My name is Mariana Everson, and I'm a psychiatric registered nurse and a proud member of the working class. Yeah. Because I come from proud working class timber workers, and I'm running for state rep in LD19. Let me tell you about my district. Let me tell you about timber country. This place, I love this place, and I couldn't stop if I tried. Once heralded as the lumber capital of the world, our ancestors supplied the boards that built all the homes across America after the Great Depression. But the hard reality is that we are now a shadow of that proud working class that we once were. Our old growth trees are gone forever. The forests are stripped to become homogeneous ghosts of what once was a thriving forest. Corporate timber companies like Weyerhaeuser stripped us of our trees, gathered the profits of our labor, and left us to die. And even in our misery, big corporations continue to find ways to profit off of us. And the majority of the available jobs don't pay enough to survive. Healthcare costs are literally killing us. Too many people are uninsured or underinsured, and even those with coverage are paying way too damn much.
That's right.
Yeah. When I'm in the House, I will champion the single-payer bill of whole Washington.
I love that. You get me fired up with that. Hell yeah. I just want to drive to Aberdeen and knock on doors right now.
Oh, it's been awful not being able to knock on doors.
I know. God, I would have been down there.
That was our major strategy.
Attack. I know it was. Let's knock on every door in the county. So, Oz, what's our next slide? Campaigning. So yeah, let's talk about campaigning. How are you campaigning in this time of COVID?
One of our really strong things that people love so much is our personalized handwritten postcards that we're sending out to targeted voters in our district. So we're sending out about 8,000 postcards that our volunteers have written on to voters in our district that are persuadables. So what that means is the state party is contacting and getting out the vote to, regular Democrats that they're going to vote for a Democrat,
right,
whether, whoever it is, probably. And we're talking to the people who are kind of on the fence, right?
That's
so we're texting, we're calling, we're sending the postcards, we're sending out mailers and trying to reach those people. I'm making calls. Everybody's making calls to make sure people know that the problem is the hopelessness, right? That's the problem. Like, people don't know that we could have a universal healthcare system in 2021 that covers everyone. Right now, we could do it, and we don't, because in healthcare, insurance companies and pharmaceutical companies will fight against it, and they have their paid politicians, just like my opponent in my race. He takes money from those guys he's bought and paid for right there.
Yeah, working whole Washington for all these years. My most profound thing is the people who don't want to help pay for other. Why would I want to pay for somebody else's insurance? Like, because you're not a selfish asshole? I mean, like,
Well,
I
you do
never
it now.
understand those.
That's the answer I always give people. You do it now.
Yeah,
You
and that's
already
just it.
pay
Yeah,
for
you
it.
already do.
How about we just everybody get it and we pay less?
Yeah,
How about
exactly.
that? What would that be like? They're like, that's not possible. Well, yeah, it is.
Yeah, we're
right
gonna
here,
save what,
right?
$1
Here's the
billion?
bill.
It'll save $1 billion if Washington State implements this, right?
9
Okay, 9 billion. Yeah.
per year. $9 billion per year.
Well, you would think these fiscally conservative Republicans would be jumping all over this. They want to save money, right?
Yeah, but see, this way they can keep us fighting with each other and
Exactly.
distracted from how, billionaires have made $990 billion more during COVID.
It's so disgusting to me. And we have all of these people that are so close to being out of their homes. I just put a chart up this morning that had the percentage rates of evictions for every state that are coming in the future. The red states are, some of them are 50 and 60% of residents are looking at evictions. Washington was 28%. 28% of Washingtonians are looking at future evictions because of COVID and loss of jobs and wages. Oh my God, why are we freaking out about this? Why are we not talking about this with every candidate?
It has to happen before somebody gives a shit, right?
Right.
No, it doesn't have to happen.
And then they're like, where are all these homeless people coming from? I just saw an Oakland report where they were like, it seems like there's more homeless on the streets. Like, seriously?
You think?
You're right. There's so many. The thing is getting out there and actually convincing people that these things can be done and we can do these things. And
yeah, well, and that's what my campaign is about. It's like a movement building campaign. It's not only about getting me elected. To the state legislature. It's also about bringing people together around these sets of ideas and moving forward to fight for these things that we need. It's not like it's just some fun thing to do because it sounds good or there's some agenda behind it. It's for actual survival, clothing, food, housing, shelter, security, healthcare. I mean, clean water. These are survival things. It's not like we're doing this for fun. This is so that people can live.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually exist.
Yeah. I'm just so proud of you for where you're at right now. I know it takes a lot of energy. I just got to say, hang in there. I know, it's got to be wearing you down. I know just helping with campaigns wears me down. I couldn't imagine running my own.
Yeah, it's a lot, but it's so worth it. Every time I get to talk to someone that has been activated by this, it's really fun. On every Monday we have our volunteer calls and I get to meet new activists and stuff. It's really great. And it gives me energy and keeps me going. And, like people like Brandon B, he's a deli clerk in Spokane and he logs into Act Blue. He doesn't do a recurring donation, but he logs into Act Blue every month and donates $5, $7, $10, whatever he can afford at that moment.
Makes such a huge difference in these small campaigns.
People like that just keep me going, keep me moving.
Yeah, so I just want to say a quick hi to everybody in the chat. We've got quite a few chatters today. We got the progressive update, which is almost. We got Annie Ann and Jordan Allen. Jordan Allen, thanks for making it. Schultze, I see you. Brent McKinney. Chris Foster, you're from the UK. Is it nighttime over there? And serious. You've been waiting so long for this interview. I hope you're enjoying it. The chat is very impressed with you. They love that you beat, the Democrat to take on the Republican. They want to see you slay the Republican. How can we help you? How do people reach your campaign and how can we help?
Yeah, I do want to mention, I don't know of, and if everybody else can tell me, that'd be great to know. I don't know another Bernie beats Trump race in the nation than ours. I'm up against the incumbent Republican, the Trumpster from hell, and I'm the Bernie-crat, and I'm telling you, this is the race that we all wanted for the presidential race. So keep watching. Please support us. MariannaForThePeople.com is my website. MARIANNA, the word for FOR, the people. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Twitter is Nurse Mana. Everybody else is Mariana for the People. You can donate, volunteer, make calls, do texts, all the stuff that campaigns do.
So do you got anything? You got your candidate forums coming up in the next week, and
Yeah.
you do your volunteer thing. You have a Facebook page for your volunteer orientation for Mondays. Yeah. If you want to go check that out, go check out Mariana for the People's Facebook page, and you could actually sign up and go check out her volunteer on Monday, her volunteer training.
Yeah, our campaign is run like an organizing tool. Does that make sense? We're not like a typical campaign. We're talking about top versus bottom polarization. It's not about left versus right, you guys. This is about bottom versus top.
Absolutely.
And,
yeah. So the chat's super excited. Yeah, they're gonna go check you out, Mariana. I just want to thank you so much for coming on, and now I'm really pumped. I want to come down and help. I'm just gonna drive down there and sign wave next week.
That's always fun.
It is. I love sign waving. I do. So I think we're pretty much done for the day, and I just thank you so much I'm glad we finally got to come together and have some time to chat. And
yes, it's great.
Anything you need, you just reach out. We're here for you at Uphill.
We have an evening dive tonight too. We'll give Mariana a shout out there too.
Yeah, definitely. So tonight we're going to have an evening dive, which is a special for us. We're going to have Bram and Kelly Lane on with us. Let's talk about the evils of capitalism. Oz, is there anything else I'm missing?
I don't think so. We got a big day tomorrow. We've got the dive in the morning, and then we've got, what do we got in the afternoon? A progressive update, and then we're going to go straight into the green room for the debate.
Debates.
That's going to be fun. What am I missing? And then Thursday night, we have a big convo couch and Jose Gloria on Biden, to vote or not to vote for Biden. That should be great. Chanda and I are going to moderate that, so it should be a lot of fun.
Yes. That'll be fun. With Pasta. And then, of course, next week, I'm working on my Shama Sawant interview for next Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard. We'll sit down and talk about the recall campaign that Amazon is smudging against her, and how we around the world can help get behind her, because she is one of our true socialists that is in the system fighting, and she needs all of us behind her. So I look forward to that. And yes, we will be live tonight, Jordan. So please tune in for an evening dive. And so now we're going to close out with Fallen Leaves, which I just love this song. It's about addiction in a small town. First time I ever heard this song, I pictured Aberdeen. So it's just perfect closing song. Mariana, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks,
and
everybody.
Good luck.
Appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Cast off the crush that kills the pain. The red flag waving never meant the same. The kids of tomorrow don't need today when they live in the sins of yesterday. Well, I've never seen us act like this. Our only hope is in the minds of kids, and they'll show us a thing or two. Weapons are the guns of youth. It's only time before they tighten the noose, and then the hunt will be on for you. The red flag waving never meant the same. Oh, the red flag waving never meant the same. Oh, in a crooked little town, they were lost and never found. Fallen leaves, fallen leaves, fallen leaves on the ground. Run away before you drown, or the streets will beat you down. Fallen leaves, fallen leaves, fallen leaves on the ground. I hitched a ride until the coast to leave behind all of my goals, searching for something I couldn't find at home. Can't get no job, Can you spare a dime? Just one more hit and I'll be fine. I swear to God, this will be my one last time. The red flag waving never meant the same. Oh, the red flag waving never meant the same. Oh, in a crooked little town, they were lost and never found. Falling leaves, falling leaves, falling leaves on the ground. Run away before you drown, or the streets will beat you down. Falling leaves, falling leaves, falling leaves on the ground. Like a fire, don't need water. Like a jury, needs a liar. Like a riot, don't need order. Like a madman, needs a martyr. We don't need them, we don't need them. We don't need them, we don't need them. We don't need them. Cast off the crash that kills the pain. A red flag waving never meant the same. The kids of tomorrow don't need today when they live in the sins of yesterday. In a crooked little town, they were lost and never found. Falling leaves, falling leaves, falling leaves on the ground. Hey guys, it's Bailey.